Hello and welcome. Today we're taking an in-depth look at this 2022 Mazda CX-5 2.5S Select package. I want to extend a huge thank you to Mazda at the Avenues for allowing me to film here today. And thank you to Matt Sykes for helping me set everything up. This Mazda CX-5 comes in machine gray metallic and has a black leatherette interior. It's sitting on these 17-inch alloy wheels riding on all-season tires. It's equipped with 4-wheel independent suspension. The CX-5 has forward collision warning, as well as blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, and lane keep assist. You also get rear cross traffic alert. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the key. It's got a pretty normal Mazda key fob. Got the Mazda logo. You got your functions on the side. Got your unlock, your lock, and your remote start. If you hold this button with the exclamation mark, that's not the remote start. That's the car alarm. I don't know why I made that mistake. This car does not have remote start. Anyway, what this car does have is keyless entry. So if the keys are in my pocket and I press this black button on the doors will unlock. Likewise, if I push it again, the doors will lock when I walk away. Well, the doors will lock when I press that button, but this car also, as I walk away from the car, the doors will also lock as well, as it senses the keys moving away. But the thing with this button is some cars have like a touch sensitive where you can just put your hand behind the door. This car doesn't do that. You have to press the button. But once you're inside, like I said, you see this black leatherette interior. It's a nice padded insert. Automatic power seats. Got a nice cubby down here you can put your keys in. Foot on the brake, press this button. Starts right up. So looking at your driver's side door here, you got a cool handle, kind of a cool shape. Got a nice insert here. Padded armrest, a little grab handle. You get your window controls. They're all one touch down. Rear windows don't go down all the way though. But they're also all one touch up, which is very nice to see. You got your door lock and unlock, your rear window lock, and this will adjust your mirrors. You push this to decide which one, right or left, and then you can move the little dial left, right, forward, backward to adjust the mirrors. You got a little cup holder, some storage. I wouldn't put an open top cup in here though. Off to the left, you got an air vent. You can close the air vent if you don't want it functioning. You can keep it open because it's a little bit hot today in Florida. You got this is a lower trim vehicle, so you see you got a couple dead buttons here, but this will turn your lane keep assist off, and your lane departure warning off. And this is, I believe it might set you to have a better, if you have to drive off-road, it might help you with going uphill on a gravel road, help with traction control in that sense. I could be wrong, but that is my best guess on what that does. Down here is your hood release and your gas cap opener, and those are your pedals. This does have a manually tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It's cool to see. Looking at your gauge cluster itself, you got your tachometer. And at the bottom of that, that'll tell you what gear you're in. So you're in reverse, neutral, drive, or if you're in manual mode. And it'll show you what gear. In the middle here, you have your speedometer. And off to the right, you have a screen that one will show your MPG. And the bottom shows you how much gas you have. In the center there is a little screen that you can shift through different things. There's a button on the steering wheel that says info, and you'll press that button. And it'll shift between different information screens. So there's your second tripometer. This will tell you when your service is due. This is like your distance pacing. Will monitor how far away you are from the car in front of you when you have your cruise control on, if you kind of want to see it doing that. You got a compass, and it'll also show you how much gas you have left. And then you're back to your tripometer. Looking at the steering wheel itself, it's a pretty nice steering wheel. It's a little hard to turn, but, you know, I mean, when you're moving, obviously, it's easier. But, you know, it works fine. It is an interesting looking steering wheel because the whole, like, the T-spoke is very far down. There's a very large gap here, but it's kind of good because of these gauges being so big. It's nice to have a better view of them. You got your horn button. Kind of a loud horn, not gonna lie. Off to the left here, you have your volume controls. You can listen to the sound system here. Pushing the center to mute it. Gonna be honest, nothing to rave about. It's a sound system. It works. That's all I have to say about it. It's not something that really, I mean, it's not like a special system. It's not a branded system. It's just the Mazda sound system. So it works just fine, but there are better sound systems in existence. You can use these buttons here to skip between different stations, your presets specifically. And this is the info button I was talking about. I was using to shift through that screen there. This is your voice assistant, as well as your answer phone call and decline phone call. And over off to this side, you have your cruise control. Turn it on, turn it off, increase speed, decrease speed. And then you have your distance pacing here for your adaptive cruise control. I kind of like this silver insert here. Kind of gives a pop of color to the interior, because you have some more silver off to the side there and around the button. Looking at the stalks behind the wheel, you got your turn signal. Make kind of a cool sound. They are kind of interesting looking. As you see, they come out with these little pegs, or whatever you want to call them, into these stalks that don't actually connect to the whatever steering column. And it's kind of a cool look, a little unique, different from what everybody else is doing. Here you have your headlight controls. They're auto, but you can put your parking lights on if you want to manually turn your lights on, or if you just want to have it off, you want to have full control. One thing I do find kind of annoying though is, and this is just me being nitpicky, but when you have it on auto, the design on the top no longer lines up. And I feel like in general, most people, I know I would, keep the headlights in auto. So I feel like just leaving the headlights in their normal position makes this be off from what it's supposed to be. And I don't really like that, but you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that this entire car is a bad car, if that makes sense. If you want to turn your high beams on while your headlights are on, you push away from you. If you want to just flash your high beams, you pull towards you. Looking at the other stalk here, you have your wiper controls. If you want to make them go one time, you push up. If you want to make your rear wiper go, you use this on the side here. So this car has rain sensing wipers, which is really awesome. But if you want to do it yourself and adjust the intermittent, you can use this dial here, or if you just want to leave them in rain sensing mode and automatic mode, they will just put it where the plus lines up with the auto, and wabam, they are in auto mode. Looking up at the ceiling here, you have a sun visor, which also has a little tab that'll pull out to block some sun here, or if you unclip it and swing it around, because these ones don't slide out, this functions as an extra little sun blocker. You also have your little mirror here with a light. And a grab handle. Looking into the center, you have your lights, your little reading lights. You got a sunglasses holder. And if you want the lights to stay off when you open the door, you push it that way. If you want the lights to come on when you open the door, you leave it in the middle. And if you just want to turn the lights on themselves, you push it on to the right. Looking down, you got a mirror. It's just a mirror. You got your dimming switch here. Moving even further down, you see a screen. Now, this is not a touch screen. It is controlled by these buttons down here. And I'll specifically talk about what each of these buttons does in a moment, but first, I'm going to go through the screen itself. So looking at this infotainment screen, if you scroll up and click information, you can see your fuel efficiency, your vehicle status, those things like that. If you want to go to your entertainment, this is where you can find your radio. And then you can go into the menu, see your station list, tuner controls, different things of that nature. If you want to adjust your audio, you can go in here and do all those things. Communication. So if you want to connect your phone, that you would go in here. And then you got your other communication settings in there. Navigation. This doesn't have an SD card in it, but I mean, you got a giant compass otherwise, which is cool, I suppose. You can also see your exact latitude and longitude and your altitude. We're 36 feet above sea level, which is cool to know. Oh, we just got higher somehow. Awesome. No, back down. Anyway, going back home, you also have your settings. In settings, you got your in-vehicle displays, another way to access your sound settings. All kinds of vehicle settings and other settings you would need are within that tab. Now, how am I doing this? What am I using to control this screen? So these buttons down here. This is a back button. This is a shortcut to your music. This is a shortcut to your home screen. This is a shortcut to your navigation, and this is a favorites button. So you can set, again, in the settings, you can set what you want your favorite screen to be. This I was using to scroll up and down through the different settings, and this, by pushing this button in, you select. And you can also move the dial left and right, up and down to select different things. And this is your audio. You press on to turn it on. And then you can adjust volume by scrolling it and mute by pushing it in. Looking back over here, you got two air vents in the middle. You got your hazard switch. Again, you can turn these vents off by pulling these down. You got your engine start stop, your passenger airbag display, and your physical climate controls. I love when cars have physical climate controls because you can... I like the tactile buttons much more than when they're within the screen. So you got your temperature control on this side, passenger temperature control over here. You can set it to auto to adjust to that temperature as fast as possible, and you can sync the passenger temperature with the driver temperature. You have 3-stage heated seats for the driver and passenger. You can turn the whole thing off. You can adjust between recirculating and fresh air. Your front defroster, your rear defroster. You can turn the AC off, just have the fans blowing. You can adjust the fan speed. Takes a second to ramp all the way up. And then you can adjust where you want the air to flow to. Down here where I had put the keys before is a little storage cubby with a 12-volt outlet in it. You can slide your phone in there, whatever. Here's your gear selector. A fun thing about the gear selector, actually, if you hold down the button on the back and turn off the car at the same time, The screen will stay on for 30 minutes. So I don't know why you would need that. If you, I don't know, for whatever reason, if you didn't want the screen to turn off when you turn the car off, that's how you keep it on, is you press the off button and the gear shifter simultaneously. But with the gear shift, you shift into reverse. You do not have trajectory lines, which is kind of annoying. I would prefer if it had trajectory lines personally, but you know, it is what it is. Neutral, drive. Oh, well, you should probably want to look at this. Neutral, drive, and then if you want to put it in manual mode, you shift over to the left. Interesting thing about the manual mode. I feel like in general, when you would be driving a car in manual mode, you would push forward to shift up, right? No, not in this car. To shift up, you want to pull down, and to shift down, you want to push up. Kind of backwards, but you know, whatever. Off to the left here is you can put the car in sport mode. So down above the P here, you can see if it's in sport mode. I find it kind of interesting the way this button works though. If you're in normal mode, you have to push it up to reach sport mode. But if you're in sport mode, you have to push it down to get in normal mode. You can't, it's not like a revolving thing where you can just push up or just push down. You have to do it down for normal mode, up for sport mode. I already talked about these buttons, so looking below, you got two pretty decent sized cup holders and your center console. You open this up, you got a little removable tray, which is cool. And you have this is where you would put under here is where you would put the navigation SD card in. And these are your USB-A ports, and you have a 12-volt outlet. So that's the driver's area of the 2022 Mazda CX-5 2.5S Select package. Let's go ahead and see what the passengers get in this CX-5. So looking at your door panel here, it's a pretty nice door panel. Has all the things you need. Little grab handle, padded armrest, window control, and a little storage cubby down at the bottom, as well as a speaker. Gotta love speakers. Just moving my camera stuff into the front there. Sitting in the back seat of the CX-5, you got two air vents in the back. Again, you turn them off by pulling that down. Adjustable. I mean, they're nice air vents. They do what they need to do. You got a mat pocket in the back, behind both seats. And yeah, it's a relatively comfortable back seat. I have the seat adjusted relatively where I would have it if I was driving this car. I fit back here just fine. The seats are pretty comfortable actually, with the leatherette. It's very comfortable. I have a good amount of headroom. Like I said, leg room is good. The armrest is a bit small, but it does the job. You can rest your elbow up on the door like that as well if you're holding the handle. Overall, pretty comfortable back seat. I can't complain. Especially for this size of car. It's a pretty good back seat. Stepping out of the back seat though, you got your gas cap right here. It's not one that you can open from the exterior though. You have to go inside, pulling that tab I showed you earlier. The gas cap will pop itself open just like so. This Mazda CX-5 takes regular gasoline and gets an MPG rating of 24 city and 30 highway. Coming around to the back of the CX-5, to open the trunk, you do not get an automatic tailgate. You have to pull it up yourself, but you know, not a big deal. And if you can't tell here, these back seats are actually reclining. The way to recline them, you have to kind of, if you're sitting in them, it's kind of awkward. You got to reach over your shoulder and pull this tab here, which also, when no one's in the seat, will fold down the front seats, or not the front seats, these back seats. But if you're sitting in a chair, you reach over your shoulder, pull back on the seat, it will recline all the way back. Also, if you want to fold this middle seat from the center seat will fold all on its own, create a little armrest of sorts. And to do that, you pull this tab, or you can pull this little tab in here, and that'll fold just the middle. But if you pull the bigger tab, that'll fold the whole side one as well. And this tab folds that side. Underneath the floor here, you get your spare tire, 2 little storage cubbies, and on each side here are 2 kind of little hidden storage cubbies, which are pretty cool and clip into space. There's another one over here. You got a 12-volt outlet on the wall. And yeah, that's your trunk in the CX-5. Again, like I said, it's not automatic. You just pull down like so. You also have the keyless entry on this door. The passenger seat is manually operated. You can adjust your seat back, adjust the seat bottom, and move it forward and backward. And you got your glove box here. Passenger door, they get a window switch and a lock and unlock. So, without further ado, let's talk about the engine. To open up the engine bay, you're going to want to come down here next to the gas cap or the gas cap tab and pull this hood tab right here. You make your way around the front of the vehicle. Right about here is a tab that you're going to want to pull to the right, and you're going to want to grab the prop rod resting here and put it in this hole here. What you're looking at underneath the hood is a 2.5 liter Skyactiv G inline 4. This engine produces 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. It puts that power down to all 4 wheels, all-wheel drive, via a 6-speed automatic transmission. This car will go from 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds. Let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? I want to thank you all again for watching this video on the 2022 Mazda CX-5 2.5S Select Package. And one final thank you to Mazda at the Avenues and Matt Sykes for allowing me to film here today. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. And maybe consider subscribing. You all have a good one. Bye-bye.